Welcome to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 15 tight end rankings for week 5. Richard, you ready?
Let's do it.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Well, before we get started, can you tell me how you did last week?
Absolutely. We hit on 9 of our 15 tight ends, which is a good week. But surprisingly, we missed out on Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, and Darren Waller. Those guys did not make the top 15 last year. So it was a weird week for tight ends, and we still hit on 9. So I'll take it.
All right, before we get started, let me just explain what you should expect in this week's video. Richard's going to give us rankings, and then we're going to use our stat machine to see if you agree or disagree, and hopefully this will help you set your own lineups. All right, Richard, line them up.
And number 1, I'm going to stick with Mark Andrews. He'll be home against Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson has been good all season except last week, and Mark Andrews as well. So we're going to trust him. We're going to put him back at number 1. And number 2, Travis Kelce, who will be home against Las Vegas. Kansas City, Travis Kelce hasn't had the best season so far, but has been good enough, especially for a tight end. And number 3, TJ Hockenson, who will be at New England. TJ went off. We finally see him put things together. He's a very talented guy, as I always say. Could it be because, Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't play? We will see. Amon-Ra will probably play in week 5. Just Jared Goff has to get him the ball. And number 4, Dallas Goedert at Arizona. And Dallas has been solid, has been consistent this year. And that's kudos to Jalen Hurts. He's played well so far. And number 5, Darren Waller at KC. Waller didn't make the top 15 in week 4, but they're playing Kansas City. Not a good defense. And Kansas City's going to put up a lot of points. They're going to have to keep up. Hopefully Waller gets a lot of targets. He needs to get targets. Again, stop giving the ball to Josh Jacobs. And number 6, Kyle Pitts at Tampa Bay. Pitts has been the biggest disappointment for tight ends, but he's too talented. He's got a tough matchup this week, but we think Mariota's going to go to him in week 5. And number 7, we have Zach Ertz, home against Philadelphia. Tough defense, very tough defense, but Ertz has also been very consistent. Kyler Murray's definitely looking for him. And number 8, Tyler Higbee, who will be home against Dallas. Higbee has been consistent. Even in their loss against San Francisco, he was able to crack our top 15.
Hold on. I know you keep on putting Tyler Higbee. I actually drafted him. He kind of not living up to the expectations, and I don't know if he should be up here. What's your reasoning?
Well, when it comes to tight ends, you can't expect much, right? Other than maybe the top 2. So even if you're making the top 15 every week, you might be scoring 4 points, 5 points, 6 points. And it depends. In PPR leagues, a little more. But Higbee's not going to make or break your team, But he has made the top 15. Let's go back. Tight ends, week 4. Higbee was in the top 15. Tight ends, week 3. Higbee was in the top 15. But I can go on.
But I can say, well, hold on. He's not scoring TDs, and that's what we need.
No, I know, but we're talking tight ends here. Okay, number 9, George Kittle at Carolina. Kittle almost scored. If you saw that Monday night game, he had, 1 foot in the end zone, couldn't get that second foot. But we believe in him. He's number 9. And number 10, Pat Freiermuth, who will be at Buffalo. It's a tough defensive matchup, but Freiermuth has also been consistent at least making our top 15. Go ahead.
Hold on. There's a lot of issues with the quarterback there in Pittsburgh. You still think he's going to perform well with everything that's going on with the quarterback position there?
Yes, he's been consistent throughout. Trubisky's been terrible. Pickett, I think you can only get better than what Trubisky's done. Pickett came in through some picks. And normally quarterbacks that are uncomfortable with their offensive scheme, or learning it, they normally rely on their tight end. At 11, Gerald Everett at Cleveland. Everett has also been consistent, and Everett is scoring touchdowns. He's got a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. I expect him to do well. And number 12, Dalton Schultz at the LA Rams. We're not going to give up on Dalton Schultz. Dak Prescott will likely be back in week 5. Expect Schultz numbers to go up unless, he's hurt. I think he's close to 100%, but we'll include Schultz. And number 13, the very mercurial David Njoku will be home against the Chargers. Again, a guy wildly inconsistent. We've seen it the last couple seasons with him. He'll have a fantastic week as he did in week 3, and then give you a dud as he did in week 4. And he's done that his whole career. But just based on that week 3 performance, we're going to give him another chance. And number 14, Tyler Conklin. He'll be home against Miami. Same thing. I think Zach Wilson's going to lean on Conklin a little. He has been getting some targets. Zach Wilson looked okay. We'll see. He's up against a tough Dolphin defense that loves to blitz. And number 15, Taysom Hill, home against Seattle. Taysom Hill, I start him in several leagues, and so far he's paid off. In 2 of the 3 weeks he's played, he's paid off. He scored a touchdown. So Taysom Hill, and then there's that hope that, he'll take over quarterback duties and run the whole offense for maybe, a half or something, if something were to happen to Andy Dalton. And then, they would probably change the designation, because then he would be ultra valuable. He would be a quarterback that you could play from the tight end position. It's happened before.
Well, keep crossing your fingers. Thanks for coming on here and sharing the top 15 tight end rankings for week 5.
My pleasure. Stay with it. Again, fantasy football is a grind.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.